What are some ways that you think that the Growth Council has made an impact in marketing over the last year?
I think the Growth Council at least started a really important conversation. And this conversation, this dialogue, is about redefining the role of marketing. And I think bringing it back to its rightful place in the C-suite, rightful place at the center of the table. Because I feel that marketing got sidelined over the last couple of decades, and also became somewhat misunderstood and maybe narrowed in terms of what it is all about. And we need to now redefine the role of marketing and what marketing should be all about, taking into account everything that has happened and the kind of world that we live in today, which is much more digital, of course, much more data-driven, much more data-rich, and much faster in terms of the rapidity of innovation. And the world that's going to continue, because I think that we're just starting to see, right? We're just in the beginning of the 21st century. So I really believe that we need to redefine the role of marketing. And redefining the role of marketing, putting it back in its rightful place, will also lead to defining much better what marketers should actually be doing. And I think it's going to lead to two very important outcomes. I think one, it's going to create much more excitement around this industry, this role itself, which is really important because we want to continuously attract talent. I think it's going to open up a lot of opportunities for people who are already in marketing, but also for the talents, the generations of the future. When I was just looking for my first job, I thought marketing was the greatest possible job you can have, because I felt that it was right at the crossroads of arts and science, right at the crossroads of humanity and business. Where did that go? I think that needs to come back. And I think we are now talking about the importance of brands that have purpose, brands that have big stories, and that is the role of marketing, to bring the business and the brand together, and I think that's going to be really essential. So starting that conversation already is very important, and then translating it into very tangible actions, I think, is the next kind of absolutely key step. And what I have observed over the last year is that people are really leaning in trying to create a meaningful difference, and I think it's going to have two impacts. I think one is it sharpens us up, all of the participants in the CMO Growth Council, into our own organizations. So starting to achieve success in our own organizations and sharing best practice, I think, is essential. But it will also take dialogue to the next level, because we're also speaking with educators, we're speaking with institutions, and I think overall it's going to create the kind of movement that we need, that is going to be much more cohesive and consistent versus everybody kind of doing their own thing. So, I think it's the right start to the journey, and now we really need to kind of shift into the next gear and start making stuff happen.
I mean, that's the question, right? I mean, where in the year ahead do you feel like there really needs to be focus then?
The role of marketing and how it's positioned as a profession, the education that surrounds it, and the training and capability development for people who already are in marketing. I think those are really important. Those are really important elements. I mean, what I think our generation of marketers wasn't super prepared for is the rapid speed of innovation and change coming so fast, and being able to learn on the job. I think that's a requirement. We need evolution. So one of the things that I also feel we can focus on is how do we actually embrace innovation and change much more head-on, much more proactively. And preparing for that is going to help everybody who's already in the field, especially kind of in the middle of their career and kind of wanting to move forward.
Yeah, how do you systematize embracing change?
It's also about learning, but it's also about being adaptive. We need to be adaptive to the environment in which we live. And now we live in an environment where change is very rapid, and very soon we'll be talking about AI, we'll be talking about voice, and very soon we will be also talking about probably regulation of the digital age. We will be talking, we'll be seeing different trends happening. Just like we're seeing right now, the importance of privacy and data protection, that will all happen, and we need to be prepared for that, and ultimately we should be driving the right changes. We should also be the ones who protect consumers, not just protect brands.
I mean, I think that's probably the crux of it, trying to find the way to balance the needs of the consumer with the needs of the brand. Like always putting the consumer first, absolutely, but doing it in a way that also creates a healthy sort of future-proofed brand. Like that's a balance, right?
I think that's really important, but I also feel that if you're focused on the right things and you're really focused on delivering, you know exactly who your brand is, what your purpose is, and you deliver that purpose in a way that's really relevant and engaging to the consumer, it's a win-win. Because the value of the brand just grows. And every time we fall into the trap of being overly short-term oriented or doing things that go against the logic, we might be, we're in danger of hurting ourselves.
I think there's been a lot of that the last 10 years. And it's a challenge, so I love hearing you say that. Okay, last one. How has Lego benefited by, maybe you personally and professionally, and also Lego more broadly, benefited by participation in the Growth Council?
For me, it's super interesting to hear what other people are doing, and it kind of keeps me sharp in thinking about what's important. I've been really leaning into the talent development area, so that made me think a lot about what are the competencies, how do I have this dialogue with my marketers. So actually, I think it also, in some ways, propelled me to focus more on this issue and start doing things myself. And I think that has been I know that has been a very big benefit to my team and my organization and Lego. And this kind of dialogue, it keeps us sharp. I think we need to ask ourselves the difficult questions, like the ones we were just discussing about, the nature of brands and storytelling and purpose, and is that at conflict or at odds with consumers, and how do we actually create a win-win? So, for me, that has been a very big output. But of course, the other really big opportunity is to create consistency in terms of our language, in terms of what we're focused on, and bring CMOs closer together. It's much easier to get closer together when you're aligned against a goal and an issue that is really that is really of value and interest to you, and you're passionate about, because it matters to you, it matters to your organization. I think then we really come together with a purpose. So that is also a big impact that I think is going to last in many different ways.